Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Diddy has won in court. He won his motion to hear his appeal early. They're going to hear it as early as the spring, so he may be home by the spring if the Honorable Donald Trump don't release him. Now on Christmas. I still think he got a chance for Thanksgiving. Do you think Donald Trump is going to release Diddy? Put it in the comments. Let's see where we going. We're going to show some videos, let you know about his new job, what the job consists of while you're in there working in the laundry. I worked in the laundry my first time in the prison. That's what they give us as high profile, just so that you understand it. But let's get this thing moving. All right. Alright, you know what it is, unique Mecca Audio, man. We're going to play this so we see what's going on. But remember, Diddy has won his motion in court. Let's take our time and get this right to hear his appeal early. He hears his appeal early. He got a chance of being released early. And what he's arguing in the motion is that they didn't have the proper elements. Remember during the trial, I kept speaking about the predicates dealing with the RICO and the elements. Every statute has an element. Elements are ingredients, just like everything have ingredients. Ingredients is like what it takes to make a cake, what it takes to make a pen, what it takes to make a wooden table. The ingredients is wood, nails, and such. So you can't sit there and say, I'm gonna make you a perfectly fine wooden table, and then you make them a table out of glass, and then you say, but I made you a table. No, I asked for a wooden table. So now with a statute, when it says that you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be tried or violating that statute, that means that it has to be X, Y, and Z, not X, Y, and G. Even though everything lined up except for that one. If you're baking a cake, let's ride. If you're baking a cake and you're saying you're baking a pineapple apple crumb cake and you don't have any crumb, you know? But now you bake the cake and you put everything in except for crumb. You still have a cake, right? Yeah, technically, but it's not a pineapple apple crumb cake. All right, let's keep this moving. See where we at.
Steve, tomorrow Sean Diddy Combs will once again be spending his birthday behind bars.
Happy birthday!
But unlike last year at MDC in Brooklyn, he's no longer in a dangerous maximum security facility. And with every passing day, gets closer to freedom, even though it's still months away. These first photos of Diddy at the Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution in South Jersey surfaced on TMZ over the weekend. In one, Diddy is smiling in his gray knit cap, looking happy and relaxed. Fort Dix is a minimum security facility. He's not in general population, but in a special housing area for inmates in drug treatment programs.
See, normally when you go to a prison, you got to go through the intake unit. The intake unit is like the R&D unit. R&D stands for receiving and discharging. So when they receive you in the prison and when they discharge you out the prison, whether you're going to another institution or you're getting paroled, that's discharge. That's why they call it receiving and discharge. They put you there and then they see where you qualified to go when you're being received into their prison. But Diddy already had it where he went right into the code program. I'm calling it code program. He went right into the RDAP. You know, they had a code program for people like me that had anger issues and things like that. But this is a drug program for people that have substance abuse program. He went right into the program, but like I said, that unit there is real tight because in that unit, everyone is geared to tell on each other. They're preparing potential citizens, meaning citizens that pay their taxes, they see something going wrong, they go and they report it to the proper authority. Now, in the prison, none of that crap go. But in the RDAP program, all of that crap go. Just so you understand. So, like I said, I used it in the thing the other day. If they see Diddy going in there and going on the line twice, or, you know, Diddy buying, let's say Diddy is buying chicken from somebody in the kitchen with his books and stamps, you know what I mean? Because, see, this the currency. This is what Diddy has to use for money now. This all Diddy could use for money now is stamps. You know what I mean? Each one of these was worth 25 cents a piece when I was in there. There's 20 books, so it comes to $5 a book. But as the price went up, they still raised the price from, $5 a book to $7, $9, and they sell it on the black market in the jail. And you go in the kitchen with your little book of stamp, and you tell them like, yo, let me get your chicken. I got 8 stamps for you. And you know what I mean? That's $2. You know what I mean? Would you sell your chicken for $2? Your fried chicken, and that's the biggest day of the week. I think Thursday, I'm gonna do a throwback Thursday, what the meals consist of in the prison on Thursday when they serve fried chicken and the whole prison population come out. I don't care who it is, who don't go to the kitchen. They're going to that chicken day, or they're buying a load of that chicken to have it delivered to the unit. If you want to hear about that, put it in a comment. Let's get back to this, all right? Because what we doing, we riding.
Now, being in that program could also shave time off his 50-month sentence on transportation for prostitution charges. He's already getting credit for about 14 months behind bars. Now, while Diddy adjusts to his new location and new routine at the South Jersey facility, he and his legal team continue to appeal the 2 felony convictions. We've just learned that a federal judge this afternoon has approved their appeal of the verdict to be heard as early as next spring.
See, so as early as next spring, they're going to hear the Diddy's, what they call direct appeal. When you get locked up after conviction, you get what they call a direct appeal, and then you get a 2255, and then you get the habeas corpus 2241, where you could file that in whatever jurisdiction you at. Meaning, even though you caught your case in New York, if you're in California, you could file a 2241 against the judge the warden in California, saying that the warden is holding you illegally for the Department of Justice. So you're bringing the warden up on charges. We went as far as when we bring the warden up on charges, when we filed the 2241 in the jurisdiction for where we're physically incarcerated at. And if you're physically incarcerated in Wyoming, you filed it against the warden in Wyoming. So once you file that motion, you also put a lien in on their assets and their property, and their financials. That means that they can't go to the bank. They can't use their money to pay the rent, can't use the money to buy gas. You freeze their account until after your 2241 is over if you put a lien on their assets. And there's restrictions for putting a lien on. I think I'm going to bring Chad Marks on to explain that. Big shout out. Go check out Chad Marks over there, Blood on the Razor Wire. Go check out my man, DC Blacks, Eon. Go check out Street Knowledge Podcast, Beat 139. These are my peoples, man. But look, make sure you subscribe at Juanita Mecca Audio and Real Boss TTTV if you want the banging music. Let's get back to Diddy, being that we talk about music, because what we doing, we ride.
They want both charges dropped, claiming the law was mistakenly applied to his case. Now, legal experts tell me there's a slim chance of that happening, but Team Combs is leaving no stone unturned. Now, Diddy's legal team requested Fort Dix because of the drug treatment programs, increased safety, and the location. They say it will make it easier for his family to visit and for him to be rehabilitated. Natasha and Steve.
All right, so that's where we at, just so that you understand. Diddy's in a world of a lot of trouble right now, but he's doing what he got to do because that's how it is. This is Diddy in prison. He's sitting there chilling with the homies, but now they also say, because we riding, they also spoke on it that Diddy now works in the laundry department. I see people on social media making fun of Diddy working in the laundry department. I worked in the laundry department. The laundry department is a good job. Only problem with the laundry department is you have to go there from first thing work call in the morning, which is 7:30 in the morning, and then you don't leave until 3 in the afternoon. So it's really like a form of keep your black ass out of trouble, job, or a protective custody job, however they want to look at it, But it's never, they can't protect you by keeping you in the laundry, because somebody in laundry could hit you up too. Now, I feel like hearing the intro for a second. Hold up. All right, so that's what I just wanted to hear that, keep it going. But when you work in the laundry, right, they give you a apron you could put on. It's a big rubber apron you put on because you got to pick up these inmates' bags of clothes and you got them against your body. They give you these rubber gloves to put on, so you put the gloves on and I don't have a glove near me. You know what a rubber surgical glove look like. So you pick the clothes up with that and that, and then you can even get a mask. You get something to put over your hair. Because imagine watching people's underwears and they done masturbated all in it, peed all in it, sweated all in it from working out, and now you got to pick these bags up and put them in the laundry, and you even got them that close to your skin. Imagine how Diddy gonna feel picking up a bag of dirty drawers in Fort Dix. You know, put it in the comments. Do you think that Diddy deserved to live like that? Put it in the comments. Do you think Diddy deserved to be picking up dirty drawers in the prison? I mean, it's hard, but that's what it is. When you break the law, you never know what you get. So now, you know, I tell you one thing, Diddy's really looking forward to that Thursday Chicken Day. Every prison in America serve fried chicken on Thursday. If they change that, somebody put it in the comments. But Wednesday's normally hamburger day. Thursday is chicken day. Friday is fish day. You know, Monday and Tuesday, you might get some meatloaf or whatever. But, you know, they don't even do that no more. My homie's been hitting me up, and they've been telling me that all they've been serving them is bag lunches, is what we call it. A bag lunch in the morning consists of, you know, 2 slices of bread, a cold apple, and a, you know, for your fruit, you know, and a cold boiled egg. And that's your bag lunch for the breakfast. Then you got the lunch meal. The lunch meal, you might get peanut butter and jelly and 2 slices of bread, and again, that world famous apple and a Kool-Aid pack. And that's your lunch, right? And then for dinner, you might get 2 slices of bologna if you're lucky. Now you got a little meat on your diet and an old rotten apple again. You know, they must have had a deal with the local apple farm or something, and the local egg farm. Because the eggs is always hard no matter what you do. Like, we got what we call a microwave, because we ride. We got what we call a microwave, right? The microwave in the prison. What do you think the microwave in the prison is? Put it in the sink. Put it in the comment. I just gave you the answer. Put it in the comments to see where you at. What do you think the microwave in the cell is in the prison? Well, the microwave in the cell of the prison is nothing more than taking a piece of plastic and putting it over, you know, the drain in the sink, and turning that hot water on and putting a towel over it and putting whatever you're trying to warm up either in your container or in a milk container or in a plastic bag, and just sit it in the water, and you let the steam hit it and go up in the bag. So if you're gonna put the bologna in the microwave, you can't put the bread with bologna in the prison microwave, meaning in the sink in the water, because when you do that, the steam is gonna make the bread soggy. It's gonna take nasty. But you know, these are the things that Diddy has to adjust to, just so you understand, because you want to know what his day-to-day life is, right? So he got the microwave in the sink, right? But then there's another microwave. The other microwave is if you on the right side of the building where the sun come in to wake you up in the morning, you could put your food in a plastic bag in that windowsill and let the sun hit it. And that's all that is. So, you know, it's just different things that we do. But I had to live for 6 months straight eating what I just described as those bag lunches when the officer got unalived out in Atwater 2008. The doors did not open up on that cell door from December 12th, 2008. All right, because I was supposed to get a visit that same day. But 2012, 2008 on December 12th, the doors didn't open up all the way until December that year. All they did was open up the food slot to slide the food in and give it to you and tell you, here, eat this, you know? And it was those bag lunches. But the good thing that happened with us, because we riding and gunshots, the good thing that happened to us is the local jail had family members that had a plant that made the sandwiches that they sold to those little food trucks that you see at the construction sites. And you know how they got the different sandwiches with the labels on it, bacon and cheese, you know, hamburger, cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, and it got the name on it. Then they give you the condiments and they come in a little plastic bag. Well, we was locked down so long that they say they're not even gonna turn the stove on for us. This is after the officer got unalive. Say they're not even gonna turn the stove on. If you wanna hear all this story, put it in the comment, I'll give it to you, but I'm gonna give you the short version. So they said they wasn't gonna do that, right? They said they wasn't even gonna turn on the stove, so they went and brought the sandwiches from the local people. you know what I mean, from the local vending place that made these sandwiches. So we got these banging sandwiches, you know, for lunch every day. And we glad they gave it to us for lunch instead of for dinner, because by them giving it to us for lunch, we got a chance to put it in the microwave in the windowsill, you know, from in the afternoon, so to be nice and sweaty with a bag puff up, and now the food is warm, and, you know, you could go ahead and, you know, punish your sandwich instead of getting just peanut butter and jelly or that hard bologna. Yo, that bologna be so thick, right? 'Cause we ride. That bologna be so thick that you be chewing it. It's like you're chewing on rubber, you know? And then don't try and swallow that joint without chewing it down. If you try and swallow that government bologna without chewing it, thoroughly chewing. If you got dentures, you're gonna have to sell your bologna for 2 stamps. You know what I mean? Here, I got 2 stamps for your bologna. You know, because you can't eat it anyway, because your dentures gonna keep popping in and out your mouth. You know what I mean? Every time you chew, your dentures come down with it, they snap up. You know what I mean? Yo, that joint is so crazy, dudes, you know. Yeah, but anyway, so that's where we at, just so you understand, man. Make sure you subscribe at my daughter's YouTube channel at Juanita Mecca Audio and Real Boss TTTV, and more of my prison stories at Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories. But we've been on here, but I want to show this first. We're going to do this real quick because I like y'all. So we're going to give y'all a little treat right now. This is one of the little memes that they making about Diddy so that you can see something to laugh at to go out. All right? Now,
Diddy's officially been moved to his new home, and it looks like they do not provide hair dye because he's completely gray, beard, hair gray. TMZ captured photos of Diddy while he's walking around outside the prison during his rec time. He's now been moved to FCI, I hope I say this right, Fort in New Jersey. This is going to be his new home while he carries out his prison term. And they've seen him outside, and he's unnatural. Now, we knew that he'd gone gray because of the drawings from court. It's being estimated that he's going to be in this prison for about 50 months. Now, his team, of course, is trying to get him out early.
Look at that now. That's Chalucci right here on the side. That's my man. Y'all remember Chalucci, right? He's the only one that had the balls to wear the Free Diddy shirts during the heat of Diddy's storm. And that's what's so crazy is that, you know how whatever female do the bid with a dude, 9 times out of 10, he's not going to be with her, right? But, you know, no matter how much she love him or whatever, that don't mean he love her back enough to do the time with him. You could love somebody all you want, but that don't mean they're going to love you back, right? So it's the same thing with this. Now, do you think Diddy is going to treat my man Lucci other than the man that he is that held him down? And when he come home, going to say, nah, I ain't dealing with you. After he's the only one, look at him, he's there with his kids. You know, he's there to weather the storm with him. Everything he goes through, he's there. Just so you understand, that's Lucci. Give you a good picture, right? I wish there was a way that I could zoom in, but I don't know how to zoom in on
Diddy's officially been moved to his new home, and it looks like they do not provide hair dye because he's completely gray, beard, hair gray. It's being estimated that he's going to be in this prison for about 50 months.
Anyway.
Now,
there it is. That's Lucci. Now, imagine Diddy come home saying he ain't messing with Lucci. How would y'all look at Diddy for him to say the man that sat there and held his family down when he went to trial? That now you come home and you say you ain't messing with him. Because that's what dudes do when females go to trial, hold them down and all that. You know, I say you was female because they the loyal that's won. But when you meet a man like Lucci, that's going to weather the storm when the whole world, 90% of the world was hating Diddy. When this was going on, this man was pushing and wearing the Free Diddy, and you know everybody want to go to the party, everybody want to go to the parties, but nobody want to go, you know, to court. He made a whole brand out of pushing it for his man. How would you feel, and how would you look at Diddy if he came home and said he wasn't dealing with this man that we all know now that has been holding him down from him being in the media during the heat of the storm? Man, let me get out of here because this might get a little too touchy, man. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio, Mecca what? Mecca Audio.
Fresh out the can of 26.
Yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Bruh.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio.